So, as a Canadian employer, can you hire a foreign national? The answer is absolutely yes, you can. The general rule is that if, as an employer, you wish to hire a foreign national, you must first seek the consent of the Canadian authorities. And this consent is typically done in the form of a labor market impact assessment, an LMIA. But as with all good rules, there are exceptions. There are exemptions to the LMIA. So how do you go about hiring a foreign national if you are a Canadian employer? Well, first of all, you will need to determine whether or not your prospective employee is an employee who will require you, the employer, to first apply for what's called a labor market impact assessment, an LMIA, or if, given the nature of the job you have, the nature of your business in Canada is such that it allows you to avoid applying for an LMIA and applying under what are called one of the LMIA exemptions. All right? So that's important if you're a Canadian employer looking to hire a foreign national. Now, just to give a general overview of the LMIA process. The LMIA process is really where the Canadian employer is going to the Canadian authorities and saying, you know what, we have not been able to identify somebody inside Canada. We've not been able to identify a Canadian resident or a Canadian permanent resident or Canadian citizen who has the requisite skill sets that we're looking for to perform this particular job inside Canada. And therefore, we need your consent to offer this job to a non-Canadian, a foreign national, whether that foreign national is physically outside Canada or is inside Canada temporarily. Okay, so that's what the LMIA consists of, and that process is one that also typically involves the employer posting job opportunities, job advertisements rather, for a set period of time with an intention of trying to identify suitably qualified Canadians, and only after doing this unsuccessfully is the employer then able to apply for a what's called a positive LMIA, meaning an approved LMIA. So that's the LMIA process, and once the LMIA is approved, then the employer is able to provide that to the prospective employee, who then uses that as the basis to apply for a work permit. If the LMIA route is not an option for you or for your employee, then there are exemptions to the LMIA requirement. These are known generally as LMIA exemption, and there are specific codes associated with each exemption, and eligibility for this exemption is going to be dependent on the type of exemption you're wanting to apply under, and what the nature of your business inside Canada. So for an example, if your business inside Canada has a related entity outside Canada, so let's say you have a business in India that is related to your Canadian business, and by related we mean it's a branch, it's an affiliate, a parent or so on of the entity outside Canada, then that entity outside Canada may be used as a vehicle to transfer employees to Canada, right? And that is something we address in a separate video under something known as the intra-company transfer. But that's just one example of an exemption that is going to allow you to bring an employee potentially to Canada, subject, of course, to many other requirements. But that's one of the exemptions that may be able to allow you to bring an employee to Canada without you, the employer, needing to apply for an LMIA. All right? So I hope you found value from this video. As always, remember to like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and check us out on go.gooselaw.com. Thanks. See you again.